Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's me coming at you again with another vid. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This is probably gonna be the last video that I do on Floyd Mayweather. I mean, possibly, who knows? But um, I wanted to share my 2 cents about Floyd Mayweather's recent comments about racism and how he recently made a comment about black fighters or Haymon fighters, particularly, are being downplayed. Really? Well, I'm not gonna really going to delve in about the racism comments he made prior to this, because I'm not going to negate the fact that racism does exist in boxing. Okay, it is to a degree. I get that. Okay, because I'm not going to sit here and be in denial about that. All right, but these recent comments about him saying that black fighters and Haman fighters being downplayed really pissed me the fuck off, and it's just so ridiculous for him to make comments like that. But I wanted to get into his meat and potatoes here and share what he had to say about his stance on it, just saying what he wanted to say, and I have my response to it. It says here, quote, and obviously this is through Fight Hype because that's the only platform he'll go to get an interview because he knows that he can get softball questions for them. But anyways, it says here, quote from him. He says, when I sit back and think, it's so many good, good fighters out there, and that they think they don't talk about, meaning the media or whoever the observers. They don't talk about Terrence Crawford, Nicholas Waters, Gary Russell, Leo Santa Cruz, Sharif Bargari, Richard Kamei, Kell Brook, Keith Thurman, Erislandy Lara, Jamal Charlo, Badu Jack, Andrew Tahibi, Danny Jacobs, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Earl Spence, Timothy Bradley, Andre Ward, and Adrian Broner. Okay, he's still a great fighter with a lot of personality. Demetrius Andrade, James DeGale, Adonis Stevenson, Deontay Wilder. But you know what? I don't know why they're not talking about these fighters, Mayweather told Fight Hype. And then he went further to say, because the majority of these fighters are black or affiliated with me and Al Haymon. Al Haymon couldn't choose a better guy for boxing. Al Haymon has been around from the beginning. Al Heyman's a manager, not a boxing promoter. All Al Haymon cares about a fighter's well-being. He genuinely cares about fighters. We sit down, we talk about different fighters. How we want the best. We want the best for them always. Me and Al working together. Communicating. So that's the reason why the money it is as it is in the sport of boxing, because of me and Al Haymon working together. Really, Floyd? Really? So let me get this straight. So you're saying that HBO is not promoting Terrence Crawford to be the next big thing? You're saying that HBO is not promoting Nicholas Waters and Gary Russell Jr., who's on Showtime, by the way? They're not being promoted to be the next big thing? Kell Brook over there in the UK, who's trying to be marketed as a headliner for a pay-per-view. Keith Thurman, who you ducked, by the way. Erislandy Lara, you ducked. The Charlo brothers, who you dismissed. Badu Jack, who you managed, by the way, which I'll get to in a second. Danny Jacobs is not being talked about. Sean Porter, who you dismissed as well. Earl Spence, who you tried to get to set up a fight with Keith Thurman because you tried to avoid that Thurman at all costs, which you did. Congratulations. And Timothy Bradley, by the way, huh? And then you have the audacity to stick up for Andre Ward, which I'll get to in a sec. And you talking about how Adrian Broner is not being marketed. You know what? Let me tell you something. As I recall, Floyd, you didn't even give any prime black fighters a shot at your pound for pound crown when you were that top guy in boxing. Okay? So don't sit there and talk about how these guys are not getting a fair shake and your dumb ass refused to give them a fair shake. All right? Now, again, I can name Keith Thurman and Erislandy Lara, who were your mandatories for a whole fucking year, almost 2 years, and you avoided them. All right? And same thing with Timothy Bradley, who deserved a shot probably more than anybody. And then your beef with Andre Ward. All of a sudden, you're Andre Ward's advocate, telling them that he should fight Kovalev instead fight Gennady Golovkin. Man, who are you to tell a fighter who he should fight and who he should not fight? All right, let me go to another thing here. You see these guys right here? Winky Wright, Paul Williams, Joshua Clottey. Yeah, remember these guys? Yeah, these are the guys that Floyd have avoided and ducked. Remember? These were prime black fighters who were dangerous. And we can talk about the Winky Wright situation, how he blatantly got out and ducked that fight. All right? You didn't give none of these guys a shot. Refused to do it. You know what you always said? Floyd, You always said that, well, these guys ain't got a big enough fan base. They don't have a country behind them, so that fight, it doesn't make no sense. Really? Really? So what do you call that? Talking about black fighters can't get a shake. When your dumb ass again and again denied them an opportunity to get a big shot at you. But instead, you went out there and cherry picked big name flat-footed fighters like Canelo Alvarez as a justification, saying that, oh, he brings in money, which is true, he does. But at the same time, you want to cherry pick other fights like Robert Guerrero and Marcos Maidana, who didn't even deserve a shot at you, to be honest with you. Now, Robert Guerrero, yeah, he was a mandatory. Okay, I get that. But at the same time, my point is this. You want to sit here and talk about how these guys didn't deserve a shot because they had no big countries behind them, but your punk ass went and fought other fighters who are less of a threat. So, I mean, and then you got your idiotic fan base who defend you on that shit, talking about Thurman don't deserve a shot. Who's he fought? Timothy Bradley don't deserve a shot. He with Bob Arum. Well, guess what? Manny Pacquiao was with Bob Arum. That fight got made. Now, you tell me that, that Tim Bradley fight couldn't get made because of Bob Arum. You tell me that couldn't be possible. If you think that could be possible, then you are clearly a deluded fan base. You the same people who said that shit that repeated the same sentiments as Floyd Mayweather, yet and then y'all want to cry racism when people criticize him. And then speaking of that, there's some channels out there saying that, but yet they don't dare to call Mike Tyson and David Alexander and Kenny Porter. Y'all won't call them coons because they criticize Floyd too, right? But you want to call me a coon or a Uncle Tom because I criticize Floyd for legitimate reasons for shit like this. I mean, this is disgusting for him to come out and make some bullshit comments about that. And that also brings me to another point about the racism talk that he made. Okay? I want to share you guys a little something that you have selective memory about that you want to forget about. Now, you see this little title here? Shocking video. What Floyd Mayweather thinks of Africa and why he can't give charities to Africa. You guys remember that comment he made about Africa? You don't? You think I'm making this up? Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share you a little something on this page right here, what he said about Africa. All right? And then I want you to tell me if I'm online or not about this, okay? It says here, quote, when he was asked about his lack of charity contributions, right, on a radio show about a year ago. I'll say almost 2 years ago. He said here, quote, well, people say that, well, he got all this money and why is he not giving to Africa? He says, well, what's Africa giving to us, huh? What's Africa came and gave to my children, my family? Things work two ways. I mean, I don't know what the hell that means. And then he went on to say that, well, everybody's always talking about giving. See, that's the problem. Everybody's doing so much. And at the end of the day, they might not have nothing. Then they say, well, why the hell is that person giving to that person when he should be saving? Okay? Now, he also went further to say that I've never gotten involved in the sport of boxing to say that I'm going to fight and make hundreds of millions of dollars and just give it all away. Now, if I'm going to mess my money off in a bad way, then I'm going to spend it on myself and I'm going to do what I want to do with my money. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to fault him for that. Yeah, you make your money, you can do what the hell you want to do with it, all right? Now, you telling me that you have no problem spending all the fucking millions of dollars on them hoe-ass strippers and them gamblings that you do on certain fights and racetrack, horse races, whatever you may be. You gambling, millions of dollars away and you spending $3 million on a car and $2.5, maybe $500,000 on a watch. Well, actually $1.5 million on a watch. But you have a problem giving 2 fractions of that money to the poor in Africa, all right, who desperately need that money, all right? I'm not saying that you should donate your entire fortune, Floyd. What I'm saying is that those kids down there, the very poverty down there who's living in probably one of the worst conditions that you could possibly imagine, who needs some of that money, okay? And you know what their ultimate dream is down there, Floyd? Their dream is not to become rich. I mean, that'd be ideal. But their dream is just to get an education, man. Get an education. Then once they succeed, they can come back to their home countries and give back to the very poor people. Not only their home countries, but their home villages as well. And for you to sit there and degrade them like that is totally bullshit. And I saw all the channels at that time, and I was just a commenter, okay? I wasn't uploading videos. Actually, you know what? I was just observing, okay? All these people come out and defend those comments or try to misinterpret what he said as if, oh, he didn't mean it like that. He clearly said what he said, okay? Because it was a stupid comment to make. All right. I saw some people, some idiots put out videos talking about, well, Floyd's absolutely right, because what's Africa done for us? I mean, Africa gave us up on a slave trade 6 centuries ago and all that shit. I'm like, okay, what the fuck does that have to do with the comments that Floyd Mayweather made? All right. He clearly said that he will not donate to Africa. I'm not sure if he's done that now. But what I'm saying is this. He degraded the very people over there, okay, when he make a comment like that. I mean, what the fuck did they done to him? Okay? Again, he has no problem spending millions of dollars on them whole ass strippers that he has at his house and those gamblers that he make, and also, $2.5 million on cars and $1.5 million on a watch. He has no problem spending that much money, right? That's cool. It's his prerogative. He can spend whatever he wants to spend. But at least give 2 fractions of those people who really needs that money, all right? And for him to make a comment like that is totally fucking out of line, right? And then you guys want to go ahead and attack the non-black channels for being racism because they criticize Floyd. But yet y'all don't want to get on him about making comments like this. This is fucking crazy, man. I'm just trying to point out the hypocrisy, the double standard with this guy. Now, every time he makes some dumb-ass comment like this, he's giving him people like me, critics like me, ammunition to go after him, right? Like how he made stupid-ass comments about Ali and stupid-ass comments about Sugar Ray Robinson, Leonard, and so forth. All the fighters that came before him, all right? And then you guys wonder why I'm upset every time this man has something to say, because he doesn't think before he says things. All right? And for him to sit there and say, well, it's because me and Haymon, these fighters getting money, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's Haymon's the one's getting that money, all right? He's the one who's got the hedge funds and all those investors that's backing him to invest into PBC. Not fucking Floyd Mayweather. All right? Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, and I have to make another point about this too, man. Ever since this whole race war that began in the YTBC about almost a week ago, and then it finally died down, thank God, because I don't think the YTBC and boxing needs that type of attention and energy, all right? I really think that every time he makes a comment about racism, like hardcore extreme channels that support Floyd Mayweather, they grab on that, they piggyback on that, and they use it to attack people who are non-black, who criticize Floyd and call them racist. And then they want to attack people like me, call me a coon because I criticize him for for his notorious, overrated record. Okay? They call me a hater or a coon because I attack him for criticizing Muhammad Ali. And in the same breath, you guys want to turn around and talk about, well, Muhammad Ali did certain things. I'm like, okay, first of all, yeah, you could say what you want about Ali. But at least Ali didn't disrespect fighters that came before him, okay? He didn't do that. I know people want to bring up the Joe Louis bull crap and whatnot because I know people are going to say, well, he called Joe Louis an Uncle Tom. Well, let me shed some light on that, okay? Because I actually had an argument about another commenter about this. First of all, Ali should call Joe Louis an Uncle Tom because Joe Louis criticized Ali for his stance on the Vietnam War, where he who he publicly spoke out against, and I believe he was drafted to go to Vietnam, but he refused. So he was stripped of his world title, and he had to do jail time because of that, to refusal to serve. So when Ali found out that Joe Louis was highly critical of him about his stance in the Vietnam War, he attacked Louis and called him an Uncle Tom. Now, I don't blame Ali for getting upset about that because him and Louis were very, very close friends until that came about. Okay, but I will not condone that Ali called him Uncle Tom. I think that was way out of line for him to do that. But at the same time, you should understand and see where Ali was coming from, because that was his friend and he betrayed him by making, going out publicly and making comments about being critical of him being against the Vietnam War, which is a very, very critical time, and the time where we're trying to get out of the segregation era, and the time when, the whole the events that kind of led up to the Martin Luther King assassination and the Civil Rights Bill that passed that gave blacks, equal rights to, to social economy and to the access to education programs that we couldn't get pre Jim Crow, actually the Jim Crow era, I should say, the Jim Crow law eras. But I know I'm getting off a little topic a little bit here, but the thing is this, man. To Floyd, just enjoy your retirement, man. I mean, seriously. I mean, you going out there crying about not getting respect by peers or, other fans in boxing. But yet you come out here and you make dumb comments like this, man. You giving people ammunition to do that. I'm not sure why you're doing this. It seems to me that you're a narcissist, because you can't stand the fact that you're not in the spotlight, but you do anything you can to get back into it just to make stupid ass comments like this. Okay? Jesus Christ, man. This guy's really, really getting to me. I mean, seriously. Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. God help this dude. I suggest is this: don't do any more interviews, because you're not only hurting yourself, but you're also hurting your brand. Your promotional company that you're trying to really promote right now, who's got a shitty stable of fighters right now, except for Badu Jack and the prospect Javante Davis, who I actually like, by the way. All right. Now, Badu Jack, I got respect for. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. Didn't I recently hear that Floyd shot down the idea of a Badu Jack and James DeGale unification bout? Huh? I mean, if I'm wrong about that, please let me know. Because if you did, man, that just shows that you're a fucking coward, man. You're not going to allow your fighter to be great. Let him challenge himself. Well, but your punk ass didn't have the heart to do it in your career. Okay, whatever. I forgot to add, though, Floyd may have have not gotten to notice that Anthony Joshua did over 400,000 pay-per-views buys over there in the UK. And this is from a prospect who did 400,000 buys, and he also did like over 1 million views over in other parts of Europe. That is a prospect. That's something Floyd never did when he was coming up. So I'm not sure where Floyd's going with this comments talking about how black fighters are being downplayed, whatnot, and they're not getting recognition. Where I just perfectly laid out the fact that he's inaccurate when he makes statements like that. All right. And for him to say that they're getting they're getting unfair treatment, and yet his punk ass refused to give prime black fighters a title shot when he was the king. Unfucking believable. I know you guys are gonna comment, some haters. I'm sorry, not haters. Your detractors gonna come on here and you're gonna blast me for making this video. Whatnot. So be it. I don't care. I'm just speaking the truth here. All right. And you guys seem to forget that he made this idiotic Africa comment, and you guys want everybody to forget about that. And criticize black fighters who called him out, but yet you want to cry foul when people criticize Floyd who are non-black. That's fucking unbelievable. And you attack the very same fighters who called out Floyd. I'd say that once again, but then you want to come out here and say that Floyd's right about racism. Man, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. This video's done. I'm out.